now back to your regularly scheduled programming. You're back with the Dank Swamp Rebellion, and this is part 3 with HeyEROCK. So that's when it comes down to it on social media. You just got to pick your battles, right? You got to figure out which ones you want to fight, which ones are worth it to you, and which ones is just, who is this Karen online that's yelling the loudest?
Yeah, definitely. And, for me, like, I'm not a big political dude. Like I said, I don't really know a whole lot about it. But people can just get it's so polarizing because, I guarantee if I were to come out on my video and I were to say one of the candidates, or even if I said either one, I'd lose half of my followers.
100%.
No matter which one I said. So I stay away from that.
Even if you said something negative about both, you would still lose on both sides.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you shouldn't have said either way.
Yeah, and the upsetting part about it, to be honest with you, is that people follow me because they obviously love who I am and they love what I do. And I'm a bright spot to their day. But if I said Trump or Biden, or however you want to spin it, then like half of the people would say, you know what, you're an asshole.
That's right.
What happened to 10 minutes ago when y'all were liking and commenting on my stuff? So again,
look what happened to Wayne Brady today. He came out on TikTok. He spun this whole thing about a whole racial issue, and people went off. And he lost half his following. And Wayne Brady's been a staple in this country for a long time. And just for having one little thing that he said, the chick that played Cara Dune on one of our favorite shows, Mandalorian on Disney, same thing. Put a Twitter comment out and now is fired from the Disney Channel. It's like, how are we gonna have another episode of another season at Mandalorian without Cara Dune, or anything else? But that's the real world we live in, and I think that the much older, the boomer generation, I don't think they saw it coming. They did not see what the internet was gonna do. No. They didn't think that a bunch of kids were going to do what's going on today.
I mean, like, think about it whenever, flashback to year 2000, man. Like, the internet was a fad.
Why does 2000 seem so long ago?
It's the truth.
It is.
Y2K. Everybody was getting 55-gallon drums and trying to pack.
And then those assholes came out like the day before and said, "Oh, just set your calendar back 10 years on your computer."
Yeah, I know. Huh? Hey guys, just kidding.
So you telling me my Windows 95 machine's gonna turn into an Android and destroy my family?
It's possible. You ever seen iRobot?
Shit,
it's coming.
That's rough.
It's coming.
What a tough break. But yeah, look, I think what happens here is a lot of the cancel culture is based off of a negative bias. So you could literally have 100 comments that are all positive, giving you the shining light that you're expecting from them, and one little comment that gives you some hate is the one you think about.
Yeah.
Instead of all the really awesome stuff that's been said about you, are things that basically lifting you up. This one comment that could be literally like 3 or 4 words that just sting.
It's true, man. It does hurt. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm human, right? So I'm a very positive and happy guy. Not a whole lot bothers me, and I try to read. I have a lot of followers. I get a lot of comments, a lot of DMs. It's really hard to keep up with everything, and I try to read them all, and I'll read and I'll respond to the ones that I can. Or if I'm crunched for time, I'll just send out some little emojis to let you know, hey, look, I appreciate you spending a little time commenting on my stuff. I'm going to comment back just to show you the love, because I'm doing this because of you. Mm-hmm. And I'll do that for 1,000 people. And just even last night, I posted a video of my daughter. She won a soccer tournament this weekend, and I posted a little video about some of her medals. And some idiot comes on there and says, oh, yeah, y'all probably just play a bunch of Rudy Poot tournaments just to go and chase medals. And I'm just like, that's just the dumbest
That's so
statement.
stupid.
Well, look, I ignored it. And I was like, whatever. Well, I didn't even see it at first, to be honest. My wife saw it. And she was like, look at this asshole. And then so I was like, leave it alone. Just don't even comment. And a little while later, my daughter comes in and says, Dad, did you see that comment on there? And I was like, yeah, Ashlyn, don't worry about that. She was like, I'm going to comment on it. I'm gonna get on Mom's phone and comment.
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
leave it alone,
I ain't no
kid.
Rudy
Leave it
Poo.
alone. yeah, exactly. Like, golly.
That's all it takes, man. Just that one bad seed that just kind of throws the whole thing off like
Yeah.
that.
Our
But
first
it's all
comment
good.
ever was, "You guys sound like a bunch of assholes," and we're like, "Well, you're right."
You're not wrong. Good job.
No, your comment should have been, I'm not an asshole. I just got parasites because I walk around with no shoes.
I got parasites in my feet, man.
I cut them on an oyster bed. It's all right.
Flesh-eating amoebas. Oh, no, bacteria. What you called it? Flesh-eating
Flesh-eating bacteria and
Yeah.
brain-eating amoebas.
Well, it's
we
definitely
had
not
that
a-
on the bio too. We had the brain-eating amoebas not that long ago.
Well, the reason it didn't last was because apparently they starved out here, you know?
Oh yeah,
That's why, because we all dumb.
especially where it originated out in Shoepick.
Oh, Lord.
We actually have not only is a Shoepick a fish, but we actually have a little town out here in the Thibodaux area named Shoepick, and the reason being is because there's a lot of freaking Shoepick back there.
It smells
them by the-
really good.
Yeah, yeah, it smells like old rotten muspelus has been on the ground too long.
I'm going to make a candle.
Of muspelus, Shoepick smell.
Shoepick candle?
Oh, man,
That's going to be your next line.
Shoepick God.
Welcome home.
Yep. Dank Swamp Rebellion, shoe pick. Candles.
Oh man, but let me ask you this, bro. What is one of your absolute? What part of Cajun culture do you hold closest?
To me, I think it's just the whole family piece. Like, just, the camaraderie and everybody just caring for one another, saying hey, no matter who you are, waving if you're passing by in a car, or when you're passing by and you're smelling somebody boiling crawfish. Like, you could literally go walk into their driveway and say, hey man, I smell y'all boiling crawfish, and they're either gonna invite you in, offer you a beer, or they're just gonna acknowledge you. They're not gonna think you crazy, and you don't get that a lot of places. And the funny thing is, I had some friends that were in town and they're not from around here, and that was one of the things that they said. And while I did understand that we did a lot of that stuff, I didn't realize to what extent, because it's just what we do, right? And they're like, oh my God, do you know him? No. Oh. Well, why'd you wave to him? What do you mean, why'd I wave to him? or if somebody was passing by that I knew was somebody, my buddy's mom, and she was like, she'd ask me something, I'd say, yes, ma'am. They would think, I'm not kidding you, that it was disrespectful. Why are you calling her ma'am? I was like, I don't understand what you're saying.
Raised to be
Yeah.
to be respectful.
Well, she doesn't think
people.
that's kind of offensive. Like, you're telling her she's old. I'm like, no, indeed not. Everybody around here says that.
Right.
So that's
no,
just
I
kind of
didn't.
crazy.
It'd been worse. So I said, yes, thought. And that'd have been a different story, It'd have been a different.
Oh, that might have been a story I want to hear.
But I do think that's a huge difference too, because recently last year I went to Boston. My oldest daughter graduated in Connecticut, and I flew into Boston and drove over. And I'm just used to, you walk in somewhere. Hey, how's it going? Hey, what's up? Hey, how's it going?
Not
you
Boston.
pass people.
Yeah. Hell no.
Not in Boston. They're like,
They'll ignore you.
this freaking dude's talking to me, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna cut him.
Right.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
I was like, how is that not a thing anywhere but here?
Yeah, it's craziness, but it's the truth. You can go anywhere. You can go in New Orleans. You filling up your gas. The person is either gonna tell you what's up, or you're gonna tell them what's up if they're right next to you. It's just whoever sees you first. Not anywhere else though. That ain't happening.
It's true. It's so crazy to me too, like, because that branches out more than just an acknowledgement too. It branches out into, like you said, the extension of family. Of course, you got your close immediate others, but your family is more than your blood here, and I feel like a lot of other cultures have that as well, but at the same time, we really embrace that. And I think it's how we were brought up too, where you just are respectful to everyone that, you seem like you need to be respected. So I'm going to give that to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt before I choose to say you don't deserve it.
Right, until you prove to me otherwise.
Exactly. I think that has died in most other places, where it's like, I'm not fucking with you, you're not fucking with me, we cool.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just not acknowledge each other at all.
Right.
And there's parts of me as an introvert, I'm good with that. I like that. But the other part that I grew up as a Cajun, I love being able to connect with people, and it's like this kind of struggle to have to go through where it's like, do I reach out to this person? Do I just say, this probably isn't worth anything because I'm over analyzing anything, so it's like a struggle between how I was brought up versus how I perceive things to be other places too. And I think that's a huge staple to the culture in general, the fact that we're so inviting with, even strangers in general. Like, you had a crawfish ball yesterday, like Tony shows up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But the other best piece about all this too, and I don't know if anybody picked up on this, but not only do we like to have all that camaraderie and all the family together, but it is always over food.
Always.
It's always
every
over
time.
Food. The food here, boy. Oh, I'm gonna tell you.
No doubt.
If you ain't never been to South Louisiana, boy, you missing out, because we got the best food around. I don't care who you are.
I always say, even you're the vegan teacher, you come down here, let Gravon make your roti shrimp over rice, babe. You'll change all that veganation or veganicity, whatever you call that. You'll change all that. You'll become an honorary coon-ass. I'll even make you some oysters on the half shell. I know for a fact, oysters do not feel pain when you eat them live. I've never heard one squeal or nothing.
That's true. That's true. You can ask the oysters too.
I never answer. They don't give a shit.
Mm-mm. They like it.
Oh, that mercy. The vegan teacher. Speaking of the vegan teacher, like she wound up getting a bunch of people banned because she gets her little cohorts in. But she actually just recently got banned from TikTok.
Really?
Yeah.
It's about time.
It is, because that's some serious hate.
That's hate.
That's some serious hate.
She will dog you out so hard.
How did it happen? Like, where did the...
Well, she has a massive following. That's number one.
I mean, she's an influencer.
And I'm just thinking to myself, like, and not to be cruel or anything like that, I'm just saying, you would think if you were so healthy, your teeth wouldn't look like Nutra-Teeth.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I'm just saying, all that healthy stuff. I just look at a person, I'm saying, okay, say you work out a lot, but you still eat meat and potatoes and just whatever, and you just go around, but you work out a lot. I know a buddy of mine eats whatever the fuck he wants. Works out 3 days a week, and that's plenty enough to stay fit for him. That's his metabolism, right? So you can't tell me that one thing in life is healthier than another, because I also know girls that eat nothing but vegetables and fruits, and they have yoga bodies that are crazy.
Yep.
Right?
Well, I mean, it's never a one-size-fits-all anyway, so it's like, but vegan might be great for you, but that ain't for me.
It doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah,
and that's where the backlash comes from. It's like, you're a hateful person because you are pulling a suckling calf. We take the suckling calf away from the mama and kill it and eat it because it tastes better than the mama. Because it's young and it's plump and it's more
delicious,
more tender.
She definitely doesn't like that comment.
Yeah, we'd love to have the vegan teacher on the show.
Oh Lord, have
imagine.
mercy.
You want to call in, boo?
No, I don't know. I think if the vegan teacher showed up down here, then you'd hear a whole lot of $5 a tail. Introduce her to Nong Nu.
Oh man. Yeah, she's pretty wild. She got the little Asian guy on there. She said, "Why aren't you vegan?" And then he opened up his shirt and he said, "Because I like to eat the cats and the dogs."
Oh,
and then he got blew up from that. And then she got him banned, and it's crazy. I hate that. I'm like, oh, dude, I respect the fact that you're a vegan and you want to have your political view and all, and you have 1 million followers. I get that, but why do you have to stop anybody who's opposing you? Because I'm duetting you and I'm eating a piece of bacon while you're saying you're vegan trash. Like, okay, whatever.
That's the whole
You could do the same thing. While I'm eating a piece of steak, you sit there and duet eating soybeans and tell me how unhealthy I am. Why not pull it that way instead of pulling the hate card? And they're the very ones that say, well, we're not hateful. You're hateful for doing what you're doing. I don't know. I kind of disagree.
You explained the business model is what you did. Because
she won't take it.
She relied on that type of controversy to build the following. That type of following.
To me, that's the ones I can't get behind, though. The ones that have built everything on that controversy.
It's a facade.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's not a true. I mean, it's a following, but it's not something that's healthy.
When we had our
definitely not.
When we had our lull in listeners, Tyler said one thing to me that it spoke to me and I live with now. He said, I don't care if we have one true listener that's part of the rebellion. If they love it, we're getting behind the mics. I don't care if it's just one, because that's worth it to us.
Yeah, dude, I feel that 100%. That's like I was talking about earlier. Even if I don't get another follower today, as long as I have what I have, or if that one person's listening to my podcast, you know, I don't want to sound like, you know, like a dick or anything, but I'm kind of doing it for me, like the podcast, because I enjoy it so much.
It is such a crazy outlet that you would not think it was.
It's the truth. It's like therapeutic. You know, I've got these guys that are on here that I know their story, but I love to have that conversation because now I feel like I'm providing them this platform for other people to say, man, that's a cool guy. That's an interesting story. And I joke around. One of my things that I do on my podcast a lot is I say, oh, well, you can go ahead and say it. There's only 3 people listening right now, so it's no big deal. And, you know, I mean, it's obviously more than that. But I don't care if it was the truth, even if it was those 3 people, because it's just fun for me just to do that. And even if it was just me listening, because I do listen to my own podcast, I'll put it in there. Actually, my wife listens to it, so that means if me and her are listening, that means there's one other person listening to it. And his name is Cajun Blood from Golden Meadow.
That is.
Which is actually kind of funny. I'm gonna talk about him too for a second. I said something in my podcast about, and I've said it a few times, I guess I didn't realize how much I was saying until it was brought to my attention. But I was like, oh yeah, you can go ahead and say it. There's only 3 people listening, no big deal. And dude sent me a message and he was like, hey man, you said that there was 3 people listening to your podcast, and I figured, well, I'm listening to it, there can't be 2 other people listening to this thing. And I was like, we are instantly friends. I appreciate that.
It's like HeyEROCK said, you come around, you smell the boil. Just come step in the yard, Beb. We got a few beers for you. Step up to the table like everybody else. Don't be shy. That's one thing in my house. You can ask Tyler. It's like him and Randy and Tony came yesterday. Bro, you know where everything's at. Mm-hmm. You know, that's one thing. Cajun people are not very good hosts when it comes to that. It's more like, hey, my house is your house when you're here.
Exactly.
If I want you here, come be here.
Yeah. My mama used to say, if you waiting on me, you're going to be waiting a whole long time.
You're going to be hungry, bro.
Yeah. You better go fix yourself. And we kind of do the same thing, buffet style. You know, my wife does most of the cooking, if I'm being honest. And she does put big old pot. She'll take out all the silverware and the bowls. And she's like, all right, it's ready, y'all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we ain't serving you. You better go serve yourself.
That's it, man.
But that's one thing we really want to do, because I feel like, and that's one thing that Anthony and I talked about a lot, I mean, bro, Alzina Toops as your grandmother, the Cajun queen. You don't get much more experience than that. You know,
pretty serious.
But I told him, I said, if you can put something that's really delicious into their mouths across this country, it will change the perception. They all can't come to us, man. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not ever. Pickle Pepper Hop Talk said that. I don't think I've ever been to Louisiana ever.
Most haven't.
It's all of what you see on TV. So you know what? We're gonna bring a little piece of Louisiana to y'all.
That's it.
Yep, definitely.
That's all it takes too.
And look, I'm gonna tell you, I can't express to you how much I appreciate that. Not just because you know, those guys are going to hear me and maybe some other people might know who HeyEROCK is. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm really talking about is the fact that, you know, we have this platform, like what you guys are doing and spreading all this talent and showcasing all these guys that nobody would ever have heard of. You know, like that is fantastic. Like coming together and being that extended family and saying, hey, look, I know y'all appreciate the things that we doing, but I want y'all to know, HeyEROCK over here or whoever it might be, Nonk New, and I want you to understand what the things that these guys are doing, because, hey, look, we doing it big down here, and we just want everybody, we want to spread the love, and that is what I definitely appreciate. And I would, you know, that's powerful.
Thank you for listening to the Dank Swamp Rebellion. Tune in Saturday for part 4 with HeyEROCK.